And they're two separate island groups, and they basically formed about 100,000 years ago, but they've been above surface for about 5,000 years, so still pretty young on the scheme of things as far as islands go. They were created by a type of fish called a parrotfish, which swims around and chews away at the coral, and they're trying to get the algae out of the coral. Basically, the byproduct of the poo is sand. So you're going to be walking around about 85% of parrotfish poo today. Right? The other part of it comes from the other part comes from storms and cyclones we get every year. All right, and the reef flat on the other side of the island there, there's a whole big rubble patch there, and basically what happens is the waves come through and they crash and they basically grind up all the coral, and then it'll continue to bank out, and the reef flat will continue to grow, and the island will continue to grow as well. It's a very, very unique area. It has its own ecosystem here. Because Woody Isles is a mangrove system, basically an offcut came from the mainland and established itself here. There's only 4 places like it in the world, and they're all in Queensland. And the reason it's unique is because that basically homes and works as a nursery. So all your tiny little juvenile fish live there until they become of an age, and then they'll shoot off to the outer reef or onto the reef flat here, where they'll continue their life. Now, the way the flora and fauna got out onto the island here is basically the birds from the mainland fly out, land on the island, and in their poo they carry seeds. Those seeds are self-fertilising, which then gives vegetation to the island. Then the vegetation puts down a root system, which then binds the whole island together so it doesn't keep getting washed away whenever we have those big storms or cyclones. Isles itself homes about 150 different species of migrating bird every year, and that starts on the 1st of November. So when you go through the island today, just make sure that you be respectful of the birds there. Some may swoop you, they won't hurt you though, but some nest on the land and others nest up in the trees, so they'll be all over the show. The lighthouse there was the first ever in Queensland. It's still operational. It took about 137 shipwrecks before they decided to put it in. And it still works as a very crucial aid for us mariners at this time today. It works off solar and batteries, so there's no actual physical light keeper who lights the lanterns anymore. Like Holly was saying, there's a husband and wife, Wayne and Jenny, that live on the island. Their sole responsibility is to maintain the island, look after those migrating birds, also our 200 resident turtles, and also to report the weather to mariners from Cooktown all the way through down to Cardwell, which is very vital information as we travel the sea. Now, just as we're coming up onto the reef here, basically guys, the water's going to be a little bit discoloured today, just due to the fact we're about to go into coral spawning. So the coral itself is actually starting to send signals off to let other coral know that it's getting ready to spawn. This happens once a year. And basically, the way coral forms is there's male and female corals, and male corals release sperm, the female corals release eggs, and that floats to the surface to create the coral polyp. Now, just to give you an idea of the scale of what happens, this is all the way from Papua New Guinea through down to Bundaberg by Brisbane. Alright, so it's a very massive event. It also gives a lot of food for fish species and every other evolving species while the coral spawning event's happening. Now, it has to be exactly 27 degrees Celsius, and it has to be a full moon at night time. And basically, coral all spawns, releases its sperm and eggs, floats to the surface, creates a coral polyp. Now, that coral polyp will float around on the surface of the currents until it hears the reef. And basically, once it hears the reef, it'll start its descent down. Now, if it lands on living coral, it'll get eaten by the living coral. If it lands on sand, it'll suffocate and die. It has to land on dead coral. So dead coral is a complete natural part of the reef, and it happens mainly due to storms, like I was saying before. Basically, the coral polyp is directly related to the jellyfish. Instead of having a bell on top and its tentacles hanging down, you flip it upside down, and the bells on the bottom of the tentacles work as its filter feeding. Now, it burrows its bell into the dead coral, leaves its tentacles out, and it will start to suck the calcium carbonate out of the water, or the limestone. And that's the structures that we're looking at now. So once it's done that, basically it creates its base form, which is 100% white, and then an algae will bind with it. Now, the algae is called Suzanne phallae, and this equates to about 85% of its food through photosynthesis. So it's a very detrimental part to the coral itself. You would have all heard about bleaching and so forth in the media, and the reef's dying and all the rest of it. Cool. So about 21 weeks ago, pretty much 80% of low oils and 100% bleached. And when we say bleaching, it's not someone comes out here with a big container of bleach and tips it over the reef. Basically, it's that algae leaving the coral because it cannot sustain its life due to either too high a water temperature or due to a freshwater saltwater inconsistency. Coral bleaching is a natural part of the reef. This happens every year, alright? The reason that it got media coverage this year was because of the scale of it heading north of North Douglas. Right? The water temperature is sitting around about 32 degrees for about 3 to 4 weeks. What they failed to mention though is that once that water temperature drops back down again, the algae can rebind with the coral and the coral will continue living perfectly healthy. We had about a 0.2% of coral that didn't come back at low oils this year, where the previous year was 0.4%. Right, so I mean it was a lot worse last year. But for some reason it's made it to the media this year, and yeah, they're not giving all the facts. They also stated that 90% of the reef had died, and that was a bit of misleading information again. They surveyed pretty much all the reefs, there were 2,000 reefs, a bit further south of Cairns, further up north up to river number 10, and what they found was 2% out of those 98% of reefs they found had some form of coral bleaching. Right? So
permanent coral bleaching.
So again, mate,
it's more permanent. In other words, it doesn't reconstitute.
Yeah, exactly. It's it's quite frustrating when we're out here every day. We obviously see the different effects, and we've got some bloke who sits in the lab. It looks like a brain, we call it brain coral. It looks like fingers, we call it finger coral. Cabbage coral, lettuce coral, cauliflower coral. It's all pretty self-explanatory, right? So we won't go through all the names. One other thing is a lot of people get quite upset when they come out to the reef because they go, where's all those colours that we've seen on David Attenborough's film and in the brochure? Those colours are there. It's not the actual coral that has the colour, it's the algae, like I say, and that usually chooses what colour it wants to be due to which area it's in. Now, a lot of this reef, probably about 40% of the year, will get exposed out of the water due to tides. Right? So coral gets to a point where it gets to the lowest astronomical tide, and then it starts to grow out. This stuff here has just gone a bit higher. I don't know why, but it has. And basically what's happened with that is that its most efficient colour for it to be is brown or green. Think of a rainforest and photosynthesis, exactly the same thing's happening here, alright? And that's 85% of its food. So that's the most efficient colour for it to be. The other side to colour as well on the reef is that all your reds and yellows and oranges are all lost within about the first metre, right? So due to basically water refraction. So as soon as light's hitting the water, it's spreading out and it's not getting down to the coral, it's bouncing back to our eye. So what we do is we take down a strobe or a flash on the camera, we re-illuminate the algae that's there with artificial light, and it brings all those colours back out again. You'll also find when you're out here snorkeling, because we're casting a shadow over top of the reef as well with the glass bottom boat, once you're out snorkeling, you're going to see a lot more of those colours starting to penetrate through as well. Now, there's two different types of coral. There's hard corals and soft corals, and low oils is predominantly known for its soft corals. About 10,000 years ago, the coral bed itself was a hard coral substructure. But basically what's happened now due to agricultural runoff and the sediment build-ups that come out of the Daintree River, basically have made the coral adapt into soft corals, which can better deal with, basically works as a better filter. Alright. Was anyone? I know you, yeah. No, if you guys are sure you don't see it. We did have crown of thorns not so long ago, but the control methods have come through and brought it back down. The thing is, if they get to a point where they, they're a natural part of the cycle, but unfortunately in the 80s.